Howdy, y'all. This is Slug. Bioshock is an impressively dense game. Its politics, as simple and straightforward as they are, seemingly overshadow a story of abuse and manipulation. Taking time to take in its lore, rather than just its political background, is a thought exercise in realizing that people around you, even with honeyed words, still have their own end goal, no matter what front they put on initially to you. The game begins with our main character, Jack, an importantly silent character gazing at a picture of his family. The package he holds, with the ever polite yet demanding phrase, "Would you kindly," in relation to the package he's holding, which contains a revolver. This proves to be the crux of the entire game's premise and message. Seemingly out of nowhere, there's a plane crash, leaving him struggling in the water, deep in the Atlantic, trying and struggling to survive. What caused this, as I ever mentioned, could be the present that's in his hands. However, we come to find out later. As Jack escapes the plane crash, he's met with a large banner of the titular Andrew Ryan's creation. It declares the point of the world being presented to Jack with the phrase, "No gods or kings, only man." Immediately, we see that this world is built upon the platitudes of a singular man. This feeling of defying the concept of a monarchy or theocracy in place of the concept of man is not a foreign one. Communism and American-style capitalism alike are typically painted with agnostic intent, proving that one's own willpower determines how they interact with the society around them. Ryan later states he frowns upon both ideologies. This is in spite of his own autocratic and pro-oligarchy approach to his own society. This basis for society still paints the idiocy of a man stuck on his own beliefs, not realizing that his followers and colleagues slowly conspire against him and his tyrannical behavior. Anarcho-capitalism and the grandiosity of Ryan creates this beautiful underwater society to a Neo and Capistan, with the window dressing as something greater than it actually is. Jack walks through this world, listening to Ryan's words and the everyman freedom fighter Atlas, his guidance, and Ryan's guidance, in a way, with bated breath. Never once does he interrupt or speak upon his own behalf. He's a humanoid sponge, absorbing every word that these older men and later women give to him. Tenenbaum, eventually, while Jack follows Atlas's words, pleads with Jack to not kill the little sisters of Tenenbaum's creations for extra Adam. Adam being the life source of this corrupt city that gives power and corrupts anyone that uses it. She gives you the option to save them, despite her creating them in the first place, and she will reward you later. The little sister is a mirror image of Jack. They blindly follow their own preset path only with the words that they were given by another person. At the end of the day, you can decide to harvest or rescue the little sisters, yet marginally, it has little effect on Jack, as you're able to get virtually the same amount of Adam and plasmids, the game's genetic powers, through either choice. There's a running trend with every authority figure you meet. You're being told to do something for the moralistic or political beliefs of another. Jack never utters a word of protest, only follows. This is not a full explanation of the world of Rapture's story, but this simple setup brings upon a core point of the game's message. Spoiler alerts for the rest of the game, but here's how Jack interacts with the authority figures Tenenbaum, Ryan, and Atlas. Jack, after being pushed throughout the game, eventually approaches Ryan's office in order to enact revenge for Atlas's family's sake, as Ryan kills him during the middle part of the story. Ryan reveals that the phrase that Atlas was using the whole time, "Would you kindly," was a phrase used to genetically and emotionally mind control Jack. He decides to try and break this fate for Jack by telling him to kill him with those words, a contradictory set of beliefs, a contradictory set of things to go about doing. Yet it doesn't break his mind control. It merely leads to his own death. Andrew Ryan dies to his own ideological hubris, an ignorant man caught up in his own power to the very end. Atlas, pleased with Jack's actions, reveals to Jack that he was never truly what he was. Yet he was a political and business enemy of Ryan, Frank Fontaine. Previously Saw is already dead, but here he is, alive. He betrays Jack and tries to kill him. Atlas was a persona given to Jack to manipulate him into thinking that there was some type of strong, good man living in this ANCAP hellhole. Tenenbaum does decide to save him with the help of the little sisters you've been saving, and who she's been raising. Through future audio logs and story beats, we come to realize that Tenenbaum and our team used Jack like the little sisters, to be the perfect brainwashed sleeper agent. Truth is, Andrew Ryan was Jack's father all along. Jack was simply an illegitimate fertilized egg that was pawned off to Fontaine, Atlas, and Tenenbaum as a simple business expenditure. Fontaine, near the final fight, as you go to confront him, reveals that he sees you as a son, but you're still disposable. Jack was always under the control and path set by the likes of Ryan, Fontaine, and Tenenbaum. Jack was a vehicle for the ideologies of all of them. Even when Tenenbaum decides to help Jack near the end, she was just a part of this corrupted cycle of abuse and manipulation as anyone else. So was the player. So were you. Even after defeating Fontaine near the end, Tenenbaum has the gall to narrate both the good and bad ending. Tenenbaum even states in the good ending that he finally got what he wanted, a loving family. But she even says that Jack never states this. Jack was given a fake background, genetically corrupted and brainwashed since he was a kid, and shown no real mercy. Even the mercy he's shown is only to further the morals of another. Jack represents many of us. He presents a reality that people in many children's lives often utilize him to push their own objectives and desires. This could be under the purpose of religion, politics, business, anything really. Jack, as a child, was never truly himself. He stands in as a tortured, silent victim to the abuse of the authority above him. He's set on a path doomed from the start for the whim of others. Children being used and abused is nothing new, sure, but the politics and greater moral implications ignore the juvenile part of Jack's journey. The game pretends to show that Jack's story can be that of a good one, yet this can't be further from the case. Pretending that he ever had any control despite the story's in-game reasoning behind the geneticism of his brainwashing is not damning enough to ignore the following. Just because Jack had grown up and became a man, like Ryan said, he was a slave till the very end, even after killing the people that oppressed him. I remember, as a child, I felt the same oppressive racial, political, and classist intentions from my own father. I was able to eventually break out of those things, but it left lasting childhood trauma due to the abuse I suffered mentally and physically from his domineering actions against myself. Childhood is not something that can be simply redeemed as an adult. Persuading and putting on the front of interpersonal progression from a broken man, despite these same people inflicting pain onto people like Jack, is heinous. Whenever someone pretends to take the moral grandstanding like Tenenbaum, Ryan, or even Fontaine, one must realize that as a person, you need to always push these people far away from you. Childhood abuse is not a redeemable trait, and these figures must be damned to the greatest pits of hell, regardless of whatever creed they follow. Jack is the silent child, quivering under the abuse whip of authority figures with a gaze of personal attentions rather than nurturing. Thank you, Jack, for helping myself and others realize that staying stagnant on one's own path only feeds into the power of previous abusers. And thank you, Bioshock. Hey, so thanks again for watching this one. This has been Slug on Slug's 2 Cents. Thanks for watching the video. I hope to see all of you guys again soon. Slug out.